Hello friends, welcome back. You are watching day 4 of our 12 Days of Christmas in July series. If you're just getting started, you can find links for the first 3 days in the top of the description so you can get caught up. And if you're new around here, welcome. I hope you consider hitting the subscribe button to join our crafty little family. So for today's project, we are going to be making this fun fold card. It is a very traditional color palette, and this is a 4-fold card. So I've got to untie this beautiful ribbon and show you the inside. This is very easy to make, and it has loads of beautiful paper layers that unfold, and I think you'll enjoy making this as much as I did. So stick with me and we'll make this together. So this collection I'm working with today is a Cozy Christmas. It's from Echo Park. I picked mine up from the Echo Park Warehouse sale, but I just checked and it's still available through scrapbook.com, and I've got the 12 by 12 size. It comes with a sticker sheet. This is much more traditional and has just really sweet vintagey images. So we're going to be working with just the pattern paper, and we'll leave the stickers for another project. We've got 3 pieces of paper here that will become our base. So the bottom portion that I have is a 110-pound cardstock. It's cut to 5 by 6.5, and then the next portion is 65-pound weight, and that's just to reduce a little of the bulk. This piece is 5.5 inches by 11. I scored it at 4 and then again at 8, so there's 2 4-inch sections, and then I put my tape along the back side of that portion because this is what we'll add to join these 2 pieces together. So I'm just going to add them by lining them up along the outside and right down to the bottom. And that will open this way. And then my next piece is back to the 110-pound cardstock, 4.5 tall, 5.5 wide, scored at 3, and then I put the tape on the back again. This one's going to go right at the bottom and the side again, and all of our folds will be on the left. So this will open, and then this will open, and then this will be the back portion. So let's go ahead and add those back pieces on now before we get too much layering in. I've just taken that beautiful pattern paper and put a cardstock border on that. I'll link that in the description if I can find it. I picked this up from Amazon. For some reason I want to think it's Jellybean. It's very nice thick quality cardstock, so if I can find that on Amazon I will link that. So this cardstock border is cut to be the same size as the base. I don't have a white border showing as I typically do when I make layered greeting cards. And then I cut the very same piece for the back. So these are going to be 5 by 6.5 inches for that cardstock border. And then I've inset my pattern paper by 1/8 of an inch and centered it. Okay, so this is very nice and sturdy now. I'm going to add the next 2 pieces, so we're just finishing what will be on the front to help reduce some of the bulk. I've got another pattern picked from the collection. I'm still going to use that same cardstock, and I'm still going to fill that whole section so I don't have any part of that white base showing. And then one for this side as well. Then they will open just like this, and then those 2 patterns will show together. So for my layering elements on these, what I plan to do is keep all of those underneath the next layer, so only this portion will show, and then when the page is flipped you can see the layering elements. I've picked my very small scallop edge rectangle die and cut a basic border for that. You see that will be all hidden when it's covered. I've got my layering pattern here, and I put that on cardstock as well. For this page I'm going to switch to the opposite side, and I'm just going to add that die cut first and top it with the pattern paper. And then there's one for here, and remember that I want to hide it under here, so I'm going to position it closer to this side. Here's that same layering pattern. I'm keeping it consistent throughout for a coordinated look. So I've got one more piece to fill in this last page. It's just more of that secondary pattern And I'm gonna place that right here along the edge. Now you see I've left a very small gap between those cardstocks because I want this to fold properly when it's all closed up. I've got a couple of small last minute details for these pages, and this collection came with a cut apart sheet that had the 2x2 squares. So for this larger page, I have plenty of room to add the whole square. It's just kind of a chalkboard with wood frame image, and I'm going to use this one as kind of a tuck spot. So if you want to slip something underneath there to secure it, that would work perfectly. So the other two pages are just a little bit smaller, and I didn't want to take up so much room with a full square. So I've got my images here, and I just use my scallop cut circle die to remove all the excess and just have more of an ephemera looking piece. So I'm going to put one on here, make sure I've got that position so just a little bit of the side will show when the page is closed, and then one more over here just to balance the first one. I've got one of the 3x4 journal cards for this page, and it's just kind of working together to balance the wood on the image with the chalkboard. So I'm going to add that right here. It just leaves enough of that background paper to act as a border. So here is the inside. I'm going to put a ribbon closure on mine because it has gotten a little bit full here and I want it to close properly. So this is the time you want to bring that in now, and I picked this pretty stitched satin ribbon. This is from Really Reasonable Ribbon. I think it coordinates pretty well with the cardstock layer, and I'm just gonna pull a generous amount here so that I'll have room for a nice bow. And then I want to tack that into place, and then we'll just sandwich all that in between the next paper layer. So I've got the same thing as on the inside, but for this piece I added a little strip of that background on the first page so that I could bring that color up onto the front. I'm just going to add that here and line it up. I've got a doily here. This is the Recollections doily. I cut this from the heavier cardstock because a portion of it is going to hang over, and it will still be fairly supported just by being on top of all of these layers, but I wanted it to be a little bit extra sturdy, so I just cut that from the thicker cardstock, and so that worked pretty well because this is not a very detailed and fussy die. I don't know, I would try that if I had an intricate die with a lot of fussy little pieces, but this one worked great. And then I used that same scalloped circle die, but in the nesting set I chose the larger one. This is just one of the 4x4 cut-aparts, and I took it down to the focal image and removed as much of that background as made sense. Here is a very sweet compact flower arrangement, and this is Little Birdie Crafts flowers, a little bit of twine, and some die cut holly. I'm just going to tack that on out here along the outside so that I don't cover up any of that beautiful scripty handwriting. Okay, I've got some charms, of course, and I want to add those here to the very top. I'm going to put my string into some hot glue to secure them. Remove the excess string, then top all that with a pretty vintage button. Now I've got some of those sequins I want to add right here. So I'll add those with my Tombow. Then I can just tie this up to secure it. And that's all for our 4-fold Christmas greeting card. Now I have been having so much fun reading all of your comments and getting to know all of you. So I'm going to ask a question again today, and I think it would be fun to know, what is your favorite guilty pleasure show to watch while you're crafting? So for me, that is any kind of true crime podcast or documentary about Sasquatch or Bigfoot or the Chupacabra or any of those cryptozoology kind of documentaries, and that is what I watch, or listen to, I should say, while I'm crafting. So let me know in the comments what it is you're watching or listening to. And if you enjoyed this project, make sure you come back tomorrow for day 5. Leave me a comment and a big thumbs up for this card. Remember, you can find links to all this product as well as our social media sites in the description below. If you're not already, I would love for you to subscribe. And as always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.